So you're thinking about moving to Dayton, Ohio, and you've heard great things about Beavercreek. Well, in today's videos, we're going to look at the pros and cons of living in Beavercreek, Ohio. We get so many requests to live in the Beavercreek area simply because of its proximity to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. But it does have its downsides as well, and we're going to look at that in today's video. Make sure, hang out till the end of the video. We're going to look at a pro that could potentially save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, simply by choosing to live in Beavercreek, and we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure hit that subscribe button, tap the little bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the market here in Beavercreek. My name is Mike Wall. My team and I get calls, emails, texts from people just like you every single day looking to make the move to Beavercreek. We absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to make a move in the next 9 days or 90 days, doesn't matter. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even schedule a Zoom call in the description below. We'd be happy to help you make the smooth move to Beavercreek. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive right in. We are going to look at the pros and cons for Beavercreek, Ohio. And I think it makes a lot of sense to do that because oftentimes we are helping people relocate in from out of the area who work at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And Beavercreek is right on the border of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. So oftentimes people are starting their search there, and we're happy to help those people transition in and move to Beavercreek or any of the other half dozen suburbs that, you know, most people choose to live in here in our area. So let's dive right in. And I'm going to tell you, it was not hard to find things to love about living in Beavercreek. Conversely, it was very difficult to find things not to like about Beavercreek, but I did find some, and you will definitely want to hear what they are. And I'm going to just dive right into it. Let me share my screen with you and show you. I've created a document to kind of highlight some of the points of this, and certainly I'll do that in some of the editing here in the video as well. But let me share my screen and I'll go directly over to the document that I've created. The first one is just so obvious. And just so you know, Beavercreek in relation to downtown Dayton is about 10 minutes west of downtown Dayton. It has roughly 50,000 people, maybe just under that, somewhere between 46 and 47,000 people who live in Beavercreek and Beavercreek Township. And so it is one of the bigger suburbs here in the Dayton area, and understandably so. But the first con I came up with, and certainly I'm sure there won't be much of an argument here, is the weather. And I guess this really depends on where you're coming in from. But I would say in most cases, the weather, comparably speaking to most other places here in the United States, is just not that great. And I am a Texas transplant myself. I've been here since 1999, so I can attest that the weather here is not nearly as nice compared to where we came from in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. So we're going to dive right into some of the statistics as it relates to the weather. Beavercreek, Ohio gets 41 inches of rain on average per year, and the U.S. average is 38. So very close, but I can tell you on a day like today, we are in mid-January, and 10 years ago it'd be snowing today, but it is raining, and there is a lot of rain here, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It can certainly create just a kind of a down mood sometimes. It's a lot of gray clouds, especially in the wintertime. It rains a lot in the springtime, and it's very challenging to get used to, but you do get used to it, and certainly provides for a very nice summer, and fall is incredible here. But I can tell you the weather is just not great. Beavercreek on average gets 16 inches of snow per year. The U.S. average is 28, so below the average for snowfall, but still, comparably speaking, it's snow, you know. And if you're coming from down south, we don't see a lot of snow down there. On average, there are 178 sunny days per year in Beavercreek. The U.S. average is 205. So, you know, this goes back to what I was saying before, just a lot of cloudy days here. And sometimes it it doesn't rain or it doesn't snow. It's just clouds. It's literally gray for days on end. And it does take some getting used to. I'm not gonna lie. It is of the really, I think, things that I could say bad about our area, it's probably the one that stands out to most, at least to me. Beavercreek gets some kind of precipitation on average, 125 days per year. Precipitation is rain, snow, sleet, or hail that falls on the ground. In order for precipitation to be counted, you have to get at least 0.01 inches on the ground to measure. In a quick story on this, we just came back. As I mentioned before, we are in mid-January here. My wife and I and my two sons were out of town for Christmas. There was a huge storm that came through here though, and it was during the Christmas holiday. It was -8 here. Now, I say that with the caveat of we were in the Villages, Florida, spending some time with my mom for Christmas, and it was 45 there. So -8 here in Ohio, 45 in Florida. So that can give you some context on what exactly kind of storm this was. And there was 4 inches of snow that accompanied that storm in as well. The summer high in July is 85 degrees, and it is, my guess is it's probably a little higher than that now. I think this data goes back to maybe 2019, 2020, but summers here are, you know, they're really hot too. And again, this is somebody coming from Texas where, you know, and I'm going to date myself a little bit here, but we used to put CD cases in our car console and they would melt, right? And so what I think makes it so hot is there's just a lot of humidity that moves in with the heat here, and it's just atrocious. So don't think if you're coming here from the south that you're getting away from that heat, because the heat will still come with the state of Ohio. I can assure you that. The winter low in January, 22 degrees. I would say that's probably pretty accurate. Right now, it's roughly about 50 degrees, so it does fluctuate some, but I think we're having maybe a more moderate winter than we might normally have here. The rain averages 41 inches per year. As I mentioned before, the snow averages 16 inches per year. And so just to put a bow on the weather, if you're coming from down south, expect colder temperatures. The heat will follow you. I can assure you of that, although it may not last as long. The most beautiful time of year to be in Ohio is the fall, by far and away. It does not rain very much. You do get to see the leaves change color in it. Yes, it is as beautiful as they say it is. You can drive around anywhere in Ohio, especially if you live south of the Dayton area and you drive out towards Caesars Creek Lake. It is just a breathtaking drive. So you'll definitely want to do that. So moving right along, the average sale price compared to Dayton, which is $111,000 or $112,000 roughly, is high. The average sale price for Beavercreek is $304,000. Here's a really good example of an average home at that $304,000 mark in the Beavercreek area. This actually listed for $315,000 and ended up selling for $310,000. It's a ranch style home. And as you can see, it's on 2909 Green Vista Drive there in Beavercreek. It sold on the 28th of October in Brook Hollow Estates. 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, 2,084 square feet, which puts it right at $148 a square foot, roughly, maybe a little more. 0.99, so almost an acre. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know a lot of the homes in Beavercreek trade on bigger lots, and a lot of folks like that. This home was only on the market for 52 days total. So from the moment it went on the market to the moment it closed was 52 days. This house has been almost completely remodeled, and I'll show you some pictures, some interior pictures, so you can see or get an idea of what you might be looking at. As you can see, very cute home, mature trees. This home, newer carpet, new luxury vinyl, new lighting, new windows. Updated kitchen with cabinets, new countertops, stainless steel appliances, beautiful tile backsplash, wooden beams, wood burning stove. Great character here. Love the step down family room. Lots of closet space in the master with an updated bath. Guest bath has been updated. And then your full unfinished basement here. So it'd be great to finish down the road, either for a rec room, children's play area, media room, bar, whatever your imagination provides for. So it's a bit on the higher side as it relates to some of the other suburbs here in the Dayton area. Now, I will say the U.S. average is $348,079. So it is still in alignment with the U.S. average. And in fact, it falls just below it. So again, if you're coming from another state, what I know with a lot of you are, you may not see that as something that's an actual detraction. You may see that something that is attractive to live here. But it's still on the high side, comparatively speaking, when you look at cities like Dayton. The taxes are, they're high. There's no way to really to work around that. The sales tax rate in Ohio is 5.75. The U.S. average is 5.09. So again, you can expect in Ohio that your taxes are more than likely going to go up. Your property taxes, the average property tax rate is 1.1%. And you'll see here, I've highlighted Beavercreek City has a tax value, a property tax value percentage rate of 2.17%. And in Beavercreek Township, which is just outside of Beavercreek proper, the property tax rate is 1.95%. And just to give you some context, the average tax value of a home in Beavercreek, now we talked about the average sale price, which is $304,885, but there's a difference between the actual sale price and the tax valuation, which in most cases we're really happy about because your taxes are based on that tax appraisal and not the sale price. So that's something to keep in mind when you're moving to Ohio. The average tax value of a home in Beavercreek is $162,730. So just some quick math. If you look at the average tax value in Beavercreek, and the math problem, it's times 0.0217, you can expect an average annual sale or property tax, of $3,531. And that's paid out semi-annually. So every 6 months. Taxes are typically due in January and June, and those tax bills come out. So, you're looking at about $1,765, which is half of the $3,531 just in property taxes. Okay. Another downside of living in Beavercreek is, the majority of the homes in Beavercreek are older. And what I mean by that is you have limited availability to new construction. Now, I will say I've been in Beavercreek recently, and they are starting to build more homes, which is great. And that also helps with the supply side. Right now in Beavercreek, there's about a 1.6 to 1.7 month supply side, which is still well under what would be considered a healthy market of 3 to 4 months. So it's great to see these builders come in and start building and helping to meet some of that demand. 29% of the homes in Beavercreek were built between 1940 and 1969. 45% of the homes were built between 1970 and 1999. And then 26% of the homes were built between 2000 to the present day. So as you can see, there's almost 70% of the homes were built between 1940 and 1999. Now, I will say, in many cases, a lot of these homes have been updated, right? People have come in and they've remodeled these homes or updated them with granite countertops, bathrooms, etc. So while they appear to be older in age, oftentimes many of them are updated. And so, you may be able to to avoid having to do some of that on your own in an area like Beavercreek. Moving right along, and that I really want to just kind of circle back. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's very challenging to find reasons not to live in Beavercreek, and the list was not very long. And I'll just kind of like highlight some of these again, but the cons were basically the weather, which again is going to be true for anywhere in the Dayton area, but it is to me, in my opinion, it is still a con, right? Especially from where I moved from. The average sale price being higher than other areas here in Dayton proper, the higher taxes, and then also the majority of homes being older and not having a lot of newer construction homes to choose from. So that's really putting a bow on the cons of living in Beavercreek, Ohio. Now the good stuff, right? Now the reasons why you might want to live in Beavercreek, or why so many people choose to live in Beavercreek. And first and foremost, Beavercreek, I would say, is the #1 city in Dayton for shopping and dining, bar none. The Green, which is probably one of the premier shopping destinations in all of Dayton, which is an outside type mall, which I guess is becoming more the norm these days, has 73 retail stores, 23 bars and restaurants. And we love going out to the Green. One of my favorite seafood places is out there, Club Oceanos. And there are several other restaurants that we frequent out in that area. There is also a theater and a myriad of other places where you can shop and just generally have fun. There are also concerts out there. Oftentimes in the summer on Wednesday nights, there'll be free concerts, or other nights throughout the week where you can just come. There's a big courtyard type area with fountains the kids can play in. Just a really, really good time. So definitely recommend you checking out the Green if you're in town. Also the Fairfield Mall, for those of you who still like going to the mall. All you mall walkers, right? There are 138 retail stores in the mall and just as many bars and restaurants in and around the area there in Fairfield Commons. So again, another good place. If you can imagine where Beavercreek is, and we'll put up a little illustration here, but Beavercreek in the north is the Fairfield Mall. So about as far north as you can go in Beavercreek, you'll find the Fairfield Mall. And then about as far south as you can go on the Kettering-Beavercreek border, you'll find the Green. The proximity to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, this is definitely a pro. Again, I mentioned in the first part of this video how we do transition in a lot of families who are going to be working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and it is one of Dayton's largest employers. There are several places or areas in and around Beavercreek where you do not even have to get on the highway to go to work if you live in Beavercreek. And so many people like that because we transition a lot of people out here. And I'll just give you a really good example from Washington, D.C., right, where the traffic is absolutely atrocious. It may be an hour or a 2 hour just sitting and waiting in traffic if you're coming from an area like that, where when you come here, you can literally get up, get in the shower, go to work, all within a 1 hour period. It's fantastic. So you might enjoy living in Beavercreek simply because it's just really close to work. And we're talking about proximity, so I might as well throw in the fact that, you know, if you work at a place like the University of Dayton or anywhere downtown for that matter, it's about a 10-minute drive to any of those places as well. So proximity to pretty much anywhere is just going to be very good if you live in the Beavercreek area. The next one I want to talk about, again, this is one that's really obvious, is the schools. And according to niche.com, the overall rating for the school system in Beavercreek is an A-, which is really good. Academics gets an A-, diversity a little on the lower side, so a C+ there. Teachers get an A-, college prep gets an A, clubs and activities get a B+, and the administration gets a B+. So overall, the schools, according to niche.com, are just a very good place for kids to attend, learn, and grow for sure. Another pro of living in Beavercreek are the parks and green spaces. Man, oh man, 25 parks and green spaces which include walking trails, tennis courts, fishing ponds, playgrounds, picnic pavilions for hosting family gatherings. Just a plethora of places to go and things to do. If you are an outdoorsy type person, you will not go wrong by picking Beavercreek as an area to live in. And again, proximity to other parks and green spaces. I will mention too that one of the really cool things that I enjoy about living in Dayton is the fact that there are over 300 miles of bike trails, and some of those do, yes, run through Beavercreek. Certainly you can just, you know, if you like to ride bikes or even get out and go for a walk. What's happened with these biking trails is they've converted old railroad tracks that used to run in and around the Miami Valley into to biking trails. And it is just a fantastic, oftentimes these trails are right next to very scenic areas like rivers and parks. And so it is just a great experience in the spring, summer, and fall to get out on these trails and get some exercise. And if you have pets, again, you know, pets love to get out on these trails and get into a lot of trouble. And the final one, I told you at the beginning of this video, hang out for the last one. And, you know, it is my goal that if you're moving into a new area, that I'm giving you something of value, and certainly helping you save money at the end of the day is something definitely of value. One thing people truly love about Beavercreek is the fact that there is no city income tax. And just to give you some context, in Springboro, where I live, in the city, it has a 1.5% city income tax. And so if you make $100,000 at the end of the year, you're writing a check for $1,500, right? Centerville, these are all areas where we get a lot of requests to live, a 2.25% city income tax. And so, you know, again, math on $100,000 is $2,200, right? $2,250. Oakwood has a 2.5% city income tax, and you know that's a $2,500 check. Again, you're writing at the end of the year. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, just choosing to live in Beavercreek could potentially save you hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars, because there is no city income tax. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind. Hopefully you got some value out of this video, and this will make your search that much easier. And that's a wrap. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. We are so excited about doing these videos. We do these videos for one reason, and that's to help educate those of you looking to learn more about the Dayton area. My name is Mike Wall. I am the Love Ohio Living team leader. We've had the good pleasure now of helping over 1,600 families buy and sell here in the Miami Valley. We absolutely love it. So whether you're looking to make a move in the next 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even schedule a Zoom call in the description below. We'd be happy to help you make the smooth move to Beavercreek. Thanks again for watching.